right, everybody. Thank you for jumping on. My name is Paige Lohmueller. I'm the agency owner at FFL Empowerment. Out of Wilmington, North Carolina. We are down here at the beach where I never go. Today our topic is products and training. So I want to start off by saying we can talk about products in as much depth as you want to, but I think it's critically important if you are a new agent. Constance, I'm not sure how long you've been here. Michael, Ellen, Taisha, I'm not sure how long you guys have been here. And if you don't mind, if at all possible, please turn your cameras on. I don't like talking to the little squares. I like talking to people. It's so important when you are new to not wait to get on the phone and go on appointments until you know the product. The very best way to learn the product is to go on appointments. Okay. A day in the field equals it's like a month in the classroom. Okay. So going on appointments is so important. When you are in your appointment, each and every one of you has been hired by somebody here. They will be the person that you call or someone that is above them. Heck, it can be me. It doesn't matter. We're all here. We're one team. So the person that has hired you, somebody in their upline, that is who you're going to call when you get an appointment. So we have so many different things to help you on your in-home. We have our client worksheets. You'll also hear them called financial inventories. Both mean the same thing. There are different ones. I believe this is the one that most people use in the beginning or something similar. What I really like about this when you're new is in the middle, it has all the different health stuff that you should ask about. If you've never done this before, you may not realize how important it is to ask, if they've been prescribed an inhaler. And okay, what have you has that been prescribed for? Because if it's COPD, that narrows the list of companies that we can get them approved with. So everything that we're doing in the home is being on a fact-finding mission so that we can get as much information as possible to properly place these people where they'll be approved, hopefully the first time. Okay, so you're definitely going to want to get the client worksheets. This is what the one that's used primarily for mortgage looks like. Doesn't list off any of the health stuff. Once you get good at this and you know what you need to ask, if you want to switch, you can. There's about 3, 4, 5, 6 different ones floating all around. It truly comes down to what works best for you. Like here's a different one. They're all different layouts. We have some of those on our website, fflempowerment.com. I know that Coastal has them on their website. So if you need anything and you can't find it, don't hesitate to reach out to your upline, okay? Or me. We're all here to help. And my email is super simple, page@fflempowerment.com. So what I want to talk about is once you've done the underwriting, you get in the home. And let me ask this, how many of you have been in an appointment, whether it be phone, Zoom, in person, where they say, okay, great. Yeah, I want 100,000 whole life. Anybody heard that? Ernie? If I had $1 over my 9 years of every time they say, I want 100,000 whole life, I probably could retire. They all want that. Okay. So whenever people say stuff like that, my response is, okay, great. Let's see what you qualify for. Because if you sit there and feed into the fact that they might qualify for 100,000 of whole life and then they don't, you as the agent in that appointment are then doing what I call the backstroke. And if you're not a good backstroker, you're splashing all over and they know it. Okay. So, okay, perfect. Let's see what you qualify for. So please use the tools that will help you figure out what they have. Then you call your upline, your manager, or the coastal hotline. Everybody on here should have that phone number. I do want to reiterate that number is for when you are with a client. Again, that could be in person, on the phone, or on Zoom. But if you have a general question about when's a good time to write an IULE, or is a universal life permanent, general questions, please call your upline or ask them in the general section of Slack. The hotline it goes to about a dozen top agents within Coastal, all of Coastal, and it rings to all of us at once for somebody to answer. And keep in mind that most of us are still running appointments. We don't mind helping while we're in the appointments, but if it's a general question, that's not how you get that answered, okay? So you definitely want to use that. As soon as you gather all your information, you call your person, right? Now, Richard has been doing this a couple months now, and I absolutely love when Richard calls me from a home. And let me tell you why. He doesn't say, "Hey, Paige, how are you? Isn't it a pretty day?" He says, 52-year-old female non-smoker. He just goes right into it because he doesn't know if I'm sitting with somebody or not. Okay, Richard, we can talk later. We're not talking in appointments. This isn't chit chat time. Okay, so have all your information when you're calling from that home. But when you do call, if the person you've called ask you more questions that you haven't asked your potential client, that should highlight to you, this is information I probably need every time. Like if Richard calls me and he's sitting with a 50-year-old diabetic, my first question is going to be, were they diagnosed before or after the age of 50? Or it doesn't matter how old they are. I'm always going to ask that because underwriting is truly going from our broad list of companies and products and narrowing in on where we think we can get them approved, right? So that's a number one question right away, because if they were diagnosed with that before 50, Mutual of Omaha will not take them on anything. All right. So as soon as we get that, and now Richard knows I'm going to ask that every time. So now he tells me I'm sitting with a 50-year-old female non-smoker diabetic, just diagnosed or diagnosed after 50. He immediately tells me I don't even have to ask him because he's paid attention to the fact that I asked him that question over and over. He knows he needs to know that, right? And then the second question with diabetes is always any complications, because what does that do? That narrows in where we can place them, right? So when you guys are calling from the home, do not have us on speaker, not because we're going to be ugly or cussing. Well, maybe if you call Zach Luffles, there might be a cuss word. Who knows? He's crazy. But don't have us on speaker, mainly because our purpose is to tell you which company, which product, and why. Okay, especially when you're new. I mean, I've done this again for a couple months with Richard. A lot of times Richard calls me now and I say, okay, what do you think? And he's getting a lot of them right. Because he's paying attention. So remember, each and every phone call from a home is a chance for you to learn the products and for you to learn the underwriting. Don't have us on speaker. Be prepared. It's going to be short, sweet, to the point. We don't need the pleasantries. We like you all. You like us all. We're all good. Just 52-year-old female and away we go. Okay. But keep in mind, if you get asked the same question more than once when you call from a home, it's because you need to know that information. Okay. This is all part of the learning of the products. If you sit here, I don't know if you guys are aware, but all of the products come with agent guides. You can order them from the carrier. They will send them to you for free. They'll send them to you digitally, hard copy, whichever. If you're old school, new school, it don't matter. We can help you either way. They're agent guides. But if you take this and you sit at home tonight and you study this, then you get in the house, you're still not going to know it. It's completely different when you're sitting in front of somebody trying to help them. You realize what a bad situation they're going to be in if they die with no life insurance. Everything you studied the night before, it's gone. It's gone. It won't be in your brain. That's what we're for. Okay. Yes, you can use them. I have them in my bag. They are my backup if I'm not sure. There are a lot of companies and products I don't write all the time. And if there's a question in my mind, I'm not completely sure, even after 9 years, I will pull it right out of my bag and check it right there in the house. It's okay that they see you doing that. It's okay that they hear you make the phone call. That shows them that you care, right? That you want to do what is best for them. You're trying to put them in the best position possible. So please, please keep that in mind, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about, definitely you can order your agent guides. They are a great resource, especially when you start doing something like on the terms. There are ones that allow you to put in disability income riders. They're all different. Every company's different. That's when I pull them out, because I'm going to read it verbatim to the client because it's different and I don't do it all the time. Okay. So great resources. But let's talk about these. These we did not have when I got started. Do you guys know how lucky you are to have these? Holy cow, what a difference they make. I still use them all the time. Who in here either has these saved on your device or has them printed for when you go in the home? All right, I'm seeing a whole bunch of hands. If you do not have the underwriting grids, you want to get them, okay? Again, fflempowerment.com, they're in the agent toolbox. If anybody ever goes on our website and there's a password, the password, you can download them, print them, everything. I know they're on the coastal site as well. I just don't know exactly where because we have them. So we'll be sure that's in the chat before we end up. I'm not sure if Melissa can hear me, but these underwriting tools are amazing, especially when you sit down with someone who has multiple health conditions. Okay. So if I'm sitting down with somebody, they have COPD and diabetic neuropathy, nothing else is major but those two things. All right. Well, we definitely do not need the term grid for them. They are not going to qualify for that. All right. So, and it doesn't matter what kind of appointment I'm in. I can be in a mortgage protection appointment. I'm pulling out the final expense grid and I'm calling this mortgage protection whole life. Please, people, keep in mind, mortgage protection, final expense are marketing terms for term life and whole life, and we can use them however we need to. Okay. They're just labels. So if I pull this out and I open it up, if you guys have it, let's look at it. Go to COPD. COPD. Most people don't like it. They won't take it. And I love when people tell me, oh, I had COPD, but it's gone now. It doesn't go away. I'm sorry. These people don't know, but it doesn't go away. So I'm going across here. I see Aetna takes it. Okay, great. I keep looking. Forrester's Plan Right takes it. That's 2 options. Transamerica takes it. 3 options. Okay, great. But she's also got diabetic neuropathy. So let's find diabetic complications. Ugh. Most of the companies like that even less. All right. So I know I've got 3, Aetna, Forrester's, Trans. So I'm looking across the grid. The only one that's going to take the diabetic neuropathy is Trans. Okay. So I'm not saying do your own underwriting if you're brand new. If you've been here a while and you've been on your first 100 appointments and you're still calling from the home, please tell me you at least have this out and you're calling just to confirm that it's Transamerica. Because if you've run 100 appointments and you don't use these, you're missing the boat. Okay. Or you're calling from the house because you feel like there's a trust issue. Because don't forget that third-party validation. When they see you and hear you talking to somebody because you want to do what's best for them, if you have any feelings that they're not quite vibing with you, they might think that you're trying to sell them the used car you pulled behind your car to the appointment, and you're trying to establish the trust. Nothing works like that phone call. So even if you know without a shadow of a doubt it's Transamerica, you can still call. And you can act like, hey, I just want to be sure. I was thinking Transamerica, but Miss Mary, she's just the sweetest lady. I want to be sure, that I get the best thing for her. This is so important for her and her family. No problem. We understand that. We will talk with you briefly, hang up, and you go do Transamerica. But guys, this is how you use these things. Now it gets nutso when you get somebody who's got a long list of health stuff, right? And it happens. Richard, see Richard's face? It just happened with him the other day. It always happens. I don't know. We're in North Carolina. I don't know if the people are really sick here. If you guys have a lot of sick people, please let me know it's not just North Carolina. But goodness gracious. So I don't want you guys to forget that we have Great Western for a guaranteed issue. It starts ages 40 to and above. And then we have AIG for guaranteed issue. That starts age 50. The maximum death benefit on both of those is $25,000. If you are with somebody and they want more than 25, stack those policies. You can get them 50 between the two. There is no limit to how many policies you can write on one person. Okay. As long as they can pay for it. All right. So keep that in mind. And I just saw, Rose, you put the pre-diabetic. Let's take 1 second to talk about that. People tell me they're pre-diabetic all the time. Some people are not on any medication. I just don't treat them like a diabetic. But they tell me I'm on metformin. No, I'm not a diabetic. I'm pre-diabetic. The carriers are going to say diabetes. They don't believe in pre-diabetes. And one time I put it in my agent comments because this is good. I thought this is great. They don't have it. They're just they're trying to fix it now. This is good. This is going to help them get something better. No. They got declined all the way out because pre to the carriers means it's not well controlled. So keep that in mind. All right. Also, speaking along those topics, you've got somebody who just got put on blood pressure medicine. All right. You're going to want to look that up in here, and you're going to want to see some of the carriers say within 3 months, decline. Again, it's not well controlled. Not everybody says that, but that's what these pages are for. And when you call us, so Richard calls me from the home and he throws me this, and this. I'm like, all right, Richard, get out your final expense grid. I've got mine. And we start looking together to narrow in based on who we think we can get them all with. And if there's not somebody and they're 40 to 49, we're going Great Western. If they're 50 or above, we're going AIG. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about term. I don't think there is a better term on the entire market than America's CBO 100. I love it. I love it. My own children, adult children, have this. Okay.
I
love
second
it.
that emotion.
The living benefits are absolutely amazing. Okay. Chronic critical terminal illness payout at 100%, and they don't have to pay income tax. You get somebody $100,000 on this, and they go into organ failure and they need that money while they're alive. They're getting $100,000. I think it's minus $100 fee. So darn close. If you go with Term Life Express with Mutual of Omaha and they go into organ failure, they need that money. They're only getting $85,000. That's 85%. This is 100% America's term. And if they don't die and they don't need the living benefits, they get every single penny they pay into the policy back. Guys, this stuff is gold. It is gold, and it pays you at your exact commission level, no minuses. It is wonderful. They give you an approval right on the spot, and they pay us within 2 business days. When it comes to term, there's nothing better. But please keep in mind, underwriting on the term is way more stricter than the underwriting on the whole life. So when you sit down with Miss Mary and she's got COPD, you don't even got to pull the term out of your bag. She's not going to qualify. Okay. I also want to mention, you probably see in our Slack group that a lot of us really like the IULs with Mutual of Omaha and the Smart ULs with Foresters. The ULs I think are amazing, but I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. They scared the ever living crap out of me in the beginning. I was completely intimidated. I didn't know about them. I didn't understand it. I was worried about messing up somebody's money. I was, because 2 and 2 is 5 to me. I don't do numbers. They just freaked me out. I would not do them. Big mistake. They're not that hard, and they're great products. I have a guy on our team. He has been doing insurance for like almost 30 years. He says the IULE is hands down the best simplified issue universal life product on the entire market. He's still contracting with about 20 companies outside of our companies. And out of all of them, the IULE is the best in his opinion. And I had him look at my universal life policy I have on myself, because once I realized how good he was, I was like, did I do this right? Because I have a different kind. But so I trust his judgment on that. I already trusted it from the training that we have, but that IULE is a game changer. For me, I typically use, so Taisha, universal life policies, the go-to. I really like America. I love America. They're the only banner in my office. Richard is sitting out there. He can attest to it. I'm not advertising any other company in my office besides America. I love them. But that IULE with Mutual is great. And you can definitely dig into it. CBO 100. Yes. Love it, Taisha. Love it. That's my favorite. But the universal life is a more permanent option. What I like to do with it, there were many times before I got brave enough to try it that I would be in a home and the CBO was too expensive. And the regular term, it's just regular term. I don't like the fact that it ends and I paid all that money. That means our clients don't like the fact that it ends and they paid all that money, right? So regular term, there were a lot of houses I left and didn't help the people, okay? Once I started dipping into the ULs, and I used resources like Zach Luffles. He is the king of the IULE. Mike Pearson knows all about the Smart UL. He taught me that one. Literally, we've got people to help, okay? Once I started dipping into there, those 40-year-olds that the CBO was too expensive, or the 50-year-olds, or even the 60, you can write the IULE all the way up to age 70 if they're healthy. The underwriting is the same for that as it is the Term Life Express. Use the same term grid sheet. So I love the fact that I have something that's typically more affordable than the CBO for healthy older people. Okay. Honestly, let's see, Taisha. Yes, CBO asks if they're pregnant. If you say yes, it will pop up additional questions. And unless they're having complications, if everything is good, they can still be approved. So keep going with the CBO unless you got somebody with pregnancy complications. It's a question, but that second page of the EAP on the Americo term, those are not knockout questions. They ask additional. Gestational diabetes may or may not go. I don't know. I've never tried to write one. So let me open this up. I don't. Again, whenever we're training about product, I'm not going to train too deep on a product as much as how to figure out what is the best product for each individual client you meet with. So does anybody have questions that I can answer or try to, or have Rose answer?
So I question,
what was that?
About to either write between, and I'm wondering, because I into the one from Mutual Omaha. How is the illustration compared to the Smart UL in terms of showing them?
Okay, so that's a great question, Thomas. And I would recommend that you ask Rose or Mike Pearson that question. Did I mention 2 and 2 is 5? I really don't compare them. I think that the universal with Mutual of Omaha, because of what my agent, who's an expert in that high level type of products that we don't generally do, because he says it's the best, I trust it. I trust Mutual of Omaha as well. I like how they pay me up front. So I typically do their universal first. If they're declined, I would say about 85% of people who are declined on the Mutual of Omaha IULE, I can then get approved on the Smart UL with Forsters, because the Smart UL will ask more questions. Like if they're diabetic, they will ask more questions and still approve them. Whereas depending on their diabetes, Mutual may just say, you know. So for me, it is like a pecking order. And I start with the Universal Life with Mutual and then go to the Smart UL with Forsters. But that is mainly because of the underwriting, plus the way it pays. The application is way easier on Mutuals. And now the illustration is run and self-attaches. So you don't have to do it, which I can do it. Whereas with Forsters, you have to go in and do it. And poor Mike Pearson had to get like 20 phone calls from me before I finally understood how to run the illustration. But good news is we have people to help. So the one thing I will say, thank you, Rose. Thank you. See, Rose knows numbers better than me. That's why we have multiple people on here. But one thing I will mention, if you are running the Universal Life Express IULE with Mutual, please pay attention. It will give you a message. It's in a green box saying illustration successfully attached when it's asking for attachments. Every now and then it's going to give you a red box that says the illustration was not able to attach. That means you have to go run it and you have to get their signature on that one page. And you have to submit that. So pay attention if you're running that. And if you are in home and you don't remember what I just said, call your upline, call me, call anybody. We're here to help. I'm going to put my phone number in here. This is my direct cell, guys. You can most definitely reach out to me. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I do have a question, Ms.
Okay.
Paige. And this is, maybe you know more than me. Like I said, I have a 35-year-old female that during pregnancy, she had cancer, no recurrence one time. And this happened maybe 2 years ago. And so it is one of those that I can't find anything for her other than the accidental through Mutual, and we need a health license for it. Can you think of anything?
Yes. So America's Accidental Death Benefit, ADB, no health license required.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great product. That number one. Number two, please keep in mind, American Amicable Home Protector, I believe it asked in the past 7 years. Now I know you said it was only 2 years out, but I have an insane follow-up system. I called somebody I met with 5 years ago who's now cancer-free and got him a policy. So people develop a follow-up system, okay? But the Home Protector, which is the term on American Amicable, says the past 7 years, have you had any form of cancer? So as soon as they get past that mark, you can say no and you can get them covered. Also, John Hancock Vitality says past 10 years. So we do have two that are not have you ever had, but they have a timeline. So that at least gives you something to add. And guys, the other thing I do want to mention, Sean Mike, our amazing CEO, founder, president, he's a visionary. We are not done with carriers. There are more to come. So when you meet someone like this 35-year-old who had the cancer one-time occurrence, don't throw that information away. Make a file where you put it somewhere, because every time we add a new carrier, you should pull out that file and go see if any of the people you could not protect, you can now protect with our new carrier and our new products, because he is adding them constantly. There are more in the pipeline. Your minds are going to be blown, absolutely blown. That's one thing that Sean is just great for, is staying ahead of everything. He thinks of things I've never even thought of. And I'm like, wow, we really need that. How did he know? Because he's been working on it for years, and I've just realized the need. So I'm super thankful for him. But Rose, for now, I would go with Americo's ADB. And they just made it so it's paying us 40% more on our commission. Boom. Who doesn't love America? Any other questions? All right. Well, remember, it's not so much about product as underwriting and figuring out what's best for each and every client. I'm here. Rose is here. Zach Luffles is here. Josh Rose is here. Athena is here. So many people are here to help you.
Paige,
Please don't ever be lost and not know what to do. Marlon, have you got a question before I end it?
Yes, I do have one quick question.
Sure.
I was on the phone with a client. I'm going to be speaking back to him here in a couple hours. So I just wanted to kind of get a little feedback.
Okay.
I called him last week and I didn't follow up as quickly as possible. So what he said today was, oh yeah, I haven't taken care of. So I dug a little deeper and he said, I said, oh, you have something? He goes, yes. I said, did someone come out and see you? Did you go into an office? He said, I went into an office. So I kept digging a little bit and I said, well, okay. I said, well, so you went into an office. I said, if you don't mind me asking, are you paying a lot? How much are you paying? And he took a big breath and he goes, I'm a smoker. I'm paying way too much. And so I was like, so I guess my question to you is, I kind of dug a little bit deeper, but he didn't give me the number, but he did say, I'm at work right now. Would you like to talk? He said, no, I'm interested now. I'm at work right now. Could you please contact me a little bit later? And I said, what time? He gave me a time.
Good.
So my question is, I know this is kind of generic. Whenever someone says, I went into an office and then they say they're paying an absorbent amount. I know that, we need to just get in the home basically, right? But so I guess my question is, when we hear that initially, when you hear something like that, is there a certain thing you guys automatically assume right away? Like, oh, they went into an office or they this or that,
Well, I'll tell you what it means to me, Marlon. More than likely, they went in somewhere with a captive agent, like an Allstate, Nationwide, something like that. And they only have what they have.
Yes.
And we have it all.
That's right.
So as soon as you said he was a smoker, I'm hoping he's older than 50 years old so you can get him Eagle Premier and get that quit smoking advantage and save him a ton of money. He will love, he may kiss you, Marlon. Be prepared. He may kiss you. Okay. Clearly we won't know anything until you get everything. So that's the other thing. In situations like this, Marlon, you did a great job of asking those questions, but don't even mention that you have a product that does non-smoking because we don't know if he qualifies. And nothing is worse than building your client up, getting them so excited about Eagle Premier, than for you to be like, oops, sorry, psych, you don't qualify. That's really hard to come back from. So I just am like, hey, I've got a lot of options, some really good ones for smokers, but I need all your information to see if you're eligible for it. When can we get together? You did a great job of asking the questions. The one who asks the most questions wins all the time. So good job. And you gather all that information. If you need me or whoever after, call us. We'll help you see what we can do. But again, if he went into an office, it was probably a captive like an Allstate, and they've got 2 or 3 products. Look, my very first office in Raleigh was 2 doors down from an Allstate office. I cannot tell you guys how many referrals I got from them because they couldn't fit them into their tight little confines on their products because there was only a few. So I think you'll have good hope with him. And if you're meeting him in person, be prepared. He literally may kiss you because you're going to save him so much money. If you can
He's
get
43, by the way. He's 43.
Oh, it is past August 5th. You can still write him on Americo. They now start at age 40 on Eagle Premier. Did everybody get that announcement?
Really?
Age 40, and it goes all the way up to 40,000 on Eagle Premier.
Really?
That started August 5th. I'm sorry. I'm an Americo cheerleader.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
If you did not know that, that started Friday. They made that change. I'm sure Sean Mike has been twisting somebody's arm for well over a year now, but I'm really happy about it.
Got it.
So he could still potentially qualify for that, but get all his meds and his medical conditions and then call your upline.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Guys, this was fun. Thank you for jumping on. Thanks for the questions. If I can do anything, my number's in the chat. You've got our website. Happy to help in any way.
Thanks,
I'm
guys.
going to start back up the live dial Zooms. If all you people are dialing, I haven't seen you on live dialing. Please get on. We're lonely on there. All right. Bye, guys.
Okay.